All right, so welcome to the Hemlock Grove prop show and tell. These are actual props. Now, you can chop someone's head off with this if you use this part or this part and you just break away a little bit. This is actually rubber, so you will not actually chop someone's head off. This is a battle axe that Olivia bestowed upon her son, Roman. You saw flashes of this in dreams in episode 1. Like when Roman was in a coma, he saw flashes of this, that this was handed down to him. And this is, there are zealots, there are religious zealots that are coming to, I don't want to give away too much, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it, but this is a tool that Roman was unaware he needed, that Olivia gave him, that was something that he saw in dreams, that it winds up coming in very handy in season 2. This is the battle axe, and you can grip at the bottom. You can swing sideways. It's very effective for decapitating. I mean, we can try decapitating if someone wants to come here for a demo, but it's rubber, so I don't know if it would work. But as long as you promise not to stab each other in the face with it, we can all pass it around. You can play with it, take pictures with it. Everyone can take a swing. This will work. This is an elaster. It's actually used for castrating cattle. You can castrate a bull, a horse, a cow. This is an actual animal castration machine. Is there anyone who would like to? You'll just have to take my word for it. This is real, and this does work. Now you notice in the first episode, Peter does a little sleight of hand by turning into a werewolf, making people think that they have completely hallucinated it, using lycanthropy to grift someone in a fake drug deal, as you know, one might expect Peter would do when he's short on cash. What do you do? Well, all right, here's an idea. And the people that he sells the fake drugs to, well, they get into a bit of trouble, and their boss wants to punish them. So he brings out this little device, which is an animal. So you can do it fast, you can do it. So I don't know if this actually gets both of them at once, if you go underneath, if you go over, or if you can just really do it one at a time. But here, why don't you play with that? All I would ask is that you just wipe it off before you hand it over to the next person. I think you're supposed to clean them between castrating. These masks, I love creepy masks. Creepy, weird, awkward-looking masks. It's weird because in Green Inferno, when the kids protest, they put on these similar kind of masks. I love them. They're sort of eyes wide shutty. These alabaster masks are war. There's obviously a new enemy that is there's a new evil force that is at work in Hemlock Grove Season 2. And they're here, and I'm not sure, I just want to make sure this is wiped out. I'm also a germaphobe. And they wear these masks, so we don't always see who's under their faces, but these are worn by the religious zealots that are out to kill anyone that is born with the call, which Roman is born with, as is Roman's child. So you'll see these, this is one of the things, these masks appear very prominently you start to see visions of them, they start to have dreams of them. Peter and Roman, once they're together, they're, I guess you wouldn't say menstrual cycles. You'd say they're Upir, Fargolf, they're werewolf, they're supernatural cycles sync up, and they start sharing dreams. And that's one of the things that draw them together, even though at the beginning of the season, they absolutely hate each other because of Letha's death from last year, and they blame each other for it. They start having these shared visions of very, very disturbing things happening. Here we can pass them around, you can try them on, and take a photo and post it on your Twitter machine, whatever you'd like. Here you are. Lovely. So there's the alabaster mask. Oh yeah, by the way, this is it. It's called the Elastrator for castrating, docking, and dehorning. Now, docking, boy, I'm gonna have to Google that one. But dehorning, I guess if you were castrated, you would be less horny. So that is for dehorning. We can pass this around. It's the battle axe. Did anyone else want to play with it? Give a chance to the whole. These pendants are from the Order of the Dragon. Now, we were introduced to the Disha and the Order of the Dragon. The Order of the Dragon last year. The Order of the Dragon is an organization. They've been trying to seize control of the White Tower. But what we love about the show is that there's always, whenever there's a force, there's always a force behind that force and a force behind that force. This is a watch that we see that appears when there's a battle that happens in the show with Peter and Rowan where they use the axe and they actually kill a bunch of people in the alabaster mask. And what sort of saves them is that one of the people, when Chasseurs' brother Michael Chasseur shows up, is that he recognizes, he sees this, which is a watch. The Order of Dragon, they're very fancy. Their own pendants, their own jewels, they have a whole shopping network. The Order of Dragon, their own jewelry line. But this is the watch that Chasseur finds, that he realizes these aren't just random people, these aren't just random zealots, that this is all part of a bigger picture, which is something his sister belongs to, which, you know, if we all remember Chasseur, when she got killed last year, and he blames the Order of the Dragon for her death as well, so he starts to realize that something bigger is connected. Here, and we'll play with the watch, try it on, take photos. Tell your friends. Is there anyone who would like to, this is really, this, you know, one of the things we talked about was, we talked about here was, I love museums of torture. Did I mention that? I go to Hostel, and I always went, I was fascinated, like, people think I come up with sick stuff, but it's just got nothing compared to what the tortures the church came up with. Things like the Spanish rape. I love kind of medieval looking, I don't love them, I love being in them, I find it fascinating. Medieval looking torture instruments. And this is used for Peter. Peter is put in this because once we see what happens with Peter, you know, in the last season, he's so careful to be with his mother. He knows when he's going to turn into the wolf. He knows when it's the full moon. He does everything right. But things fall apart. His life falls apart so bad that you see him behaving recklessly with his ability to turn. And we realize that it's dangerous. It's almost like the lycanthrope becomes like a drug addiction, like he's going on some crazy drug bender, and he's severely damaging himself. But others realize that Peter is so self-destructive, he can force himself to turn against the moon, which causes all sorts of other problems. And that was one of the things, again, in taking sort of the traditional things of werewolf genre, like adding our own little spin to it, our own little twist. I wanted to see, okay, if you could really do this, and this was a biological process and it was dependent on the moon, is there a way to force your, okay, when people take birth control and they trick, like, is there a way to trick your body into thinking it's a full moon, into forcing yourself to turn? And what kind of damage are you doing when you do that? So now that people realize that Peter can do that, it's not that they have to wait for a full moon, that he will he's making himself crazier by doing it and wrecking his body, but they put him in this contraption so that he won't turn. Because obviously when he turns, he's going to grow, and it's not, this thing is designed so that, it's not going to break. It's iron, going to clamp, and if he turns while wearing this device, it will instantly kill him. So you can try that on. Take some pictures, send it to your parents.
When did you find out that you love these elements of torture?
Well,
and how did you?
I'll be honest with you. This is actually mine. I don't know. I left it here by mistake. I went to. It's not that I love torture. I grew up in Massachusetts, and we heard about the witch trials, and there were 19 people that were killed in Salem. So I remember going and reading The Crucible, and we grew up very much going, oh, these were the girls who were burned. We went to Salem and said these were the girls who were burned. Abigail Warren, everyone, they accused each other of the whole witch hysteria. And then I started reading about Europe, where you're like, oh God, 40,000 people in Germany. It's something like 300,000 people over a period of 250 years were killed as witches. And it's all because of things like
anthrax would make a cow's udders bleed, but they didn't know what anthrax was. So they'd say, oh, Goody Sherman bewitched my cow. Let's burn her, and then we'll take all of her property. So they came up with the most incredible torture devices to get people to confess. And a lot of them are in these museums. When I was filming Hostel in Prague, I love the idea of kind of violence as a play on violence as entertainment, where the guys go to look at the torture instruments. They're like, dude, look at that guy, put your dick in that. Like, they're not taking it seriously at all, not realizing it's all foreshadowing exactly what's going to happen to them. But it also just shows the human history of what people are capable of and what humans will do to another one when they feel that they're on the side of right, when they feel that they're justified in doing so. Humans are capable of anything. If they've come up with a reason to go, oh no, I'm not torturing them, I'm getting a confession, I'm helping. I'm getting a confession on a witch. This is actually God's work. That when people do that, and you're on the receiving end of it, it's terrifying. That if someone has a different religious, and I'm not saying this against Catholicism or church, can be applied to any religion, that when someone has a different set of religious ideals that conflict with yours, and they will kill you or torture you for it, because they believe that they're completely on the side of right, that's what terrifies and fascinates me. So I saw all the devices that they came up with. I mean, there's the Judas cradle where your legs are up and there's a pyramid that just goes into your ass over a period of 4 days until your intestines rot, like your intestines burst. Like it's slowly like a pyramid going in your ass over a period of like 3 days to get them to confess. Or walking the witch pricking the witch was the best. They found that there was the mark of the devil, that if you poke someone, that you could find a spot in the body that you didn't feel pain, and that was because the devil possessed you. So what would they do? They would stick someone with this long metal rod, basically 1,000 times until they're completely in shock, until they didn't feel pain anymore, over a period of days, and their bodies are covered in holes, and they go, oh look, they were a witch, and we can drown them now. And they throw them in the river, and then there was walking, the witch tortures are just, and these things in church, we don't have that in America. So I saw the Spanish rake. There was one where someone was put hands down and they would spread your legs like a Y, and like two people would get on either side of a saw and saw you in half, like right from your crotch down to your head. And the reason they sawed you in half upside down was, here you can wear this, the reason they sawed you in half was so that you were conscious longer. Like all the blood is going to your brain. So if they sawed you from here, you'd die right away, but you're upside down and they just saw your nuts in half. Like you look at this and you go, this is what was going on, a few hundred years ago in the town squares, and everyone was doing it. So I'm always fascinated by what humans are capable of when there's some sort of ideology behind it, and they think they can get away with it with no repercussions. So that's where the fascination comes from. And also this stuff is really cool. So there you are. That is the props demonstration. They're just a few. The fun thing about making a movie is a lot of the props get destroyed. But yeah, these are all the originals that we shot with on season 1 and 2. Todd Master, Drew Bouton, our production designer, is amazing. I worked with him on Man with the Iron Fist, and we spent so much time designing the weapons and tapestries, and we love the details. I mean, part of the fun of directing a show is you get to create a universe, you get to come up with things and build these little objects and have, all the little detail in it. Everything has a history, everything has a story. I nerd out about that stuff, so hopefully you guys will see. Enjoy, play with them.
When you were younger, did you care people maybe think about this fascination about torture or elements?
No, I didn't. I mean, I never really cared. I was just always fascinated with it. When I was younger, we were learning about the Holocaust and the Nazis. So it was just like everything we did was punctuated with like, finish your dinner. It's like, I want to finish my dinner. It's like, you could have been in an oven in Poland. Okay, like my parents, like growing up, like everything they said, like the end of the sentence was, well, at least we're not in ovens in Poland. Mom, like you just grow up like all the time. They'd be like, well, yeah, well, if we were in Poland, the Nazis would have put us in an oven. So there you go, get dressed, eat. Like it was used for everything. And we just like, all my Jewish friends grew up with that. So like no matter what I thought of that was violent, it's like, well, at least we're not in an oven in Poland. Like it was crazy. And that was like when I was 10 years old. That was like a totally normal thing for like Jewish parents to say to their kids. It's like, well, at least we're not in Europe. We would have been killed by the Nazis. It's just like, it's crazy. And, even nobody in Europe says that. It was like a very specific thing to where I grew up. So I guess just in comparison, it's really not about Germans, right? Because I love Germany. I love Germans now. But it's just amazing to me what humans are capable of when they feel justified.
But Eli,
When
what's the thing about with all these horror movies and vampire movies coming out? Is there a limit to having too many, in your opinion?
You know, I think if it's bad, then I think it's got to be, when they're well done, that's when it's great. It's like really is a golden age of horror and television. You can go, there's too many, but you go, well, right now you have Walking Dead and American Horror Story and Hemlock Grove, and like there are fantastic creators getting behind these shows, and everybody really cares about making them good, and all of them are different, and there's a huge appetite for it. I think it's when you see, you know, it's like we all thought reality TV was going to die, and now it's a kind of television, and it took over. But when you see it's well done and it's fun, people love it. So I think as long as something is great and smart and fun and interesting and well done, then it's okay. Then the market can bear it. I think it's when people start cranking out mediocre crap to try and make a quick buck off a certain audience, that's when the audience turns. And I also think horror fans can smell a rat. Like they know when something is not, you know, and it's not pure. But also like, you know, like I am not the audience for Teen Wolf, but like I know people that's their favorite show. And that's like a type of show that's much more of soap opera, you know, the ripped, shirtless guys, like that's they love, like the people that like. But I also knew the Twilight audience was going to graduate to something, and now like True Blood is ending. You know, it's okay to keep. I think as long as you keep making great quality work, there'll be an audience there to enjoy it. Cheers.
Do you enjoy participating on the practical effects stuff?
Oh, I love it. I do. I pump the blood. I pump the gore. I mean, I was there when we were at Green Inferno. We were in Peru. We were doing you know, when people were like getting ripped up. I jumped in there in the middle of the natives, and I'm like peeling the guts and like spraying them in the face with blood, and then like it's ridiculous. I like generally at the end of the day of filming, I'm like completely pumped. It's so much fun. I mean, except when you're in the Amazon and the bugs just attack you and devour you. It was a bit sticky. But yeah, no, generally in all my films, like I'm very literally hands-on with blood to the point that I want it to look so specific. I just keep covered in it by the time. It's fun for me. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.